Good evening. We're here to look at my skateboards. I know it's very exciting. Let me start. This is an original Hang 10. I purchased this new about 1974. I've wanted to talk about these for some time. I fear there might be some people who care about this. I'm not sure how many, but this is the Hang 10 board as it was sold. It's fiberglass. It's still in good shape for what it is. It's a very small board by modern standards. I rode this when I was like 12 and didn't know any better. These were the first boards to come out that we had that didn't have clay wheels, which was the first skateboard I had. Problem with clay wheels is they were clay wheels and they would stop dead and kill you. This board has very interesting wheels, which are the Road Rider, which was not what came with this originally. What came with this when it was new was the Hang 10 wheel that still had an open bearing. You would spin it and see the bearings inside. About 1975, these Road Riders came out, and I believe they were the first sealed bearing wheel. You can see there's still a different style of nut than you would have on a new skateboard. These wheels are, you can't really see, but light red in color, still in good shape. What was funny is we would put two different sizes. There's the 4 and the 2 in the back. 2 is approximately 40. I would estimate this front wheel is about 48 millimeters. And the back one, somewhere 60, I would say. It didn't ride strangely. We didn't notice it. They also came with riser pad on tracker truck, which you can't really read that, I don't think. We'll clean some of the rust and crap off of this, if you will. This was considered a nice setup, believe it or not. The board was stone flat. What we would do is hill bomb and work on 360s. That was considered a cool trick. If I stand on it now, it will break. It flexes in a rather ridiculous fashion, and my feet look pretty damn big on this board. Anyway, this is the 1975 Hang 10. They were made in about 3 different styles. I had a couple of them. I don't know really what happened to the other ones, but this one is still going on. My next addition to the menu was my bahne. The bahne board was probably 1977, 1978. This was a major upgrade. This board is also fiberglass, also in good shape. You'll see that they now have a 4-hole truck, whereas the Hang 10 had a 3-hole truck, which is pretty cool. Still a very cool board, I have to say. The bahne, these are probably 26 inches long and somewhere about 8 inches wide. Was considered a pretty rideable board in its day. Also dead flat. These, I believe, were Bennett trucks. Again, I should probably take the time to clean them up to show this better. These are Kryptonics. Originally, this board had Cadillac wheels. Again, you'll notice the nut is different than a modern nut. You'd use an Allen key on this. The Cadillac wheels, I must confess, I sold on eBay for a large sum of money. So I replaced them with period correct old Kryptonics from something else, which I think look pretty decent. They still spin okay. You can ride this board. I used to ride this board being towed behind cars with a tow rope at speeds of excess of 30 miles an hour. I didn't notice it as being too ridiculous or obscene. Again, it's pretty small by a modern standard. To compare will be the next one on our menu, which is like a modern popsicle. However, it's about 32 or 3 years old itself. I don't remember what the brand was. This was the first modern popsicle shape. I would show my 80s Santa Cruzes. I'm going to save that for another day because I don't want to go on for too long. This board is pretty cool. You'll notice it has the old school bolts. I don't remember the brand. This was considered very funny, parental advisory, making fun of Reagan era, whatever those moms groups were. I would say this board is probably from 1989 to 90. It has, it's hard to show what this has. It has a little symbol here, which is when rap music was probably just starting out being a crossover. I would pick this probably around 1990, 1991. They had what was considered a cool graphic, or at least I considered it cool. It has some razor tail, nothing too terrible. A little bit back here too, a little bit of scratching. This board wasn't used that much. I preferred my Santa Cruz. What's cool about it is it does have old school Venture trucks. I don't know if you can see that in there. They still are fine, actually. I went and rode it this morning just for laughs. I put Rick the Clouds on here just because I wanted to do light cruising. The board came originally with these guys, which, again, I don't remember the brand. I could look really closely and try to figure it out, but it doesn't really matter. They're hard as rocks. They always were. I don't know what the durometer is. I ride 101As on my current boards. These are absolutely as hard as stones. They need new bearings. I would guess they were about a 50 millimeter. These are 54s, the Rick the Clouds. These cats are a smidge. You can't really tell from this, but they're a smidge smaller. Probably a 50, 51. For laughs, I might put bearings in here just to ride it. Just remember how terrible they felt. They were fit only for the smoothest concrete. And that's about it. Besides that, this board is actually a very nice board. It has pretty flat concave. You can't really see. It has some. It's not completely flat, but it actually feels very comfy compared to my other modern popsicles, which are actually very deep concaves. This thing is actually a pleasure to sit on. That's about it. I should measure the bolt holes. I don't know if this is a modern or a wider. I think it might be a wider old school bolt hole. And that's all I got. Hope you find this somewhat interesting. And I thank you. Good night.